is how annoyed I am at Gotway's latest wheel announcement. I have a brand new one-wheel pie in a box right here that I need to make an open box video on, but I can't make that video because I feel compelled to have a response on this latest wheel announcement.
Hello everyone.
From Gotway or Begode, whatever they like to call themselves, and why it is so wrong. This week, let's talk about what is Gotway or Begode's latest announcement actually mean to us UC riders.
Two real aliens walking through here.
And why I think it is yet another example of the slow motion car wreck that is the current Gotway. Roll the intro. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll be BFF forever. By the way, I live in the Lower East Side, and if you're not familiar with New York, let me just tell you that it is that one spot in the city where we have the highest concentration of bar and restaurants, and today it is SantaCon. It is the one day anyone who wants to party would grab a cheap Santa costume, go out and bar hop and get shit-faced. Not my favorite occasion. Trust me when I say that I really didn't want to do this, and that I like Gotway. I really do. They had always been known as the performance-oriented electric unicycle builder, and many EUC riders in New York City remain staunch fans of their work, which include my own Monster V3, which remain one of my all-time favorite electric unicycle to ride. There is also the EXN, which I have recently given a glowing review for. And although I had always complained about their quality control and crappy shell design, there is a general sense of robustness to their work that is a little bit hard to describe. As akin to how Cold War era Soviet engineering are often depicted here in the US, ingenuity as a result of necessity, an overall reductive philosophy of keeping things simple. And yes, we all have a whole lot of complaint. However, for the most part, the old Gotway wheels are all straightforward to service and maintain. And my own Gotway V3 is an excellent example of this. It's been running mostly trouble-free over the last 2 years with almost 4,000 miles on it, with a minimal amount of maintenance. I would say almost none, other than the occasional flat and tube replacement. And let me remind you that this is also a mod wheel with an extra Gotway battery pack chopped up and stuffing the crevices to give it a bit more range. And if you really think about it, me as someone who actually get the opportunity to ride every single new wheel that is introduced, somehow still choose to ride this 3 years old wheel is both a compliment to whom Gotway used to be, as well as a bit of a condemnation on the kind of wheel that they have been building over the past 2 years. And now that we got the pleasantry out of the way, and I have clearly communicated the fact that I ain't no Gotway hater, I'm gonna tell you why I hate Gotway. Okay. So the problem we have is that Gotway wheels has been spontaneously combusting lately in people's home, in their car, while they're riding or what have you. And we can argue about the why and the how, but I have heard of very few instances of similar fire event from other wheels made by other manufacturers. So this is a Gotway problem. And this has been happening all year long, to the point where there's now an active thread on the EUC forum keeping track of all the electric unicycle fire going on all over the world. Gotway acknowledged this problem early on this year, I think somewhere around January, and provided an apology letter right after the container fire that eWheel had experienced with one of their shipment, and they promised that they would do something about it, so we waited and waited. Then in July, we got this outrageous list of recommendations, including brilliant suggestions such as only charging your wheel outdoors. I guess Gotway isn't aware of things like I don't know, seasons and rain and snow that the rest of us, people living in the real world actually experience. And get this, that any battery pack that is more than a year old should be replaced. You know what that is called? It's called a product recall. If Gotway was offering to send out battery packs to all of their customers as a replacement after a year, then I would say sure, that is a step in the right direction in addressing a critical flaw with their own product. But no, that is not what they're suggesting. They like to have more of your money and for you to pay for those battery packs, which after a year, you should also promptly throw out. This list was so absolutely insulting and infuriating that most of us did the only reasonable thing we could, which is to simply ignore it. And now that almost a full year had passed the initial apology letter from Gotway, we finally got to see what they actually had planned as a fix: fire-resistant lithium cells. And they're actually proud of this. Let me explain why I think this is not such a good idea. This is like someone suggesting that the best way to prevent a forest fire is to simply replacing all the trees with concrete telephone posts. Since concrete obviously do not burn, that would solve our forest fire problem, right? Alright, let's calm down a bit and take a deep breath. And let's, talk about what they actually did here. The speculation are that they have gone with LFP cells, which has a lithium iron phosphate based chemistry. And I think this is actually confirmed by subsequent announcement in future we'll release like a potentially updated version of the EXN. They are known to have longer life cycle as compared to lithium ion, more tolerance for higher temperature operations, and they also supposedly accommodate the safe 100% discharge of cells, and that is you running the battery completely dry, something that you're not supposed to do with a lithium ion cell. Yes, they are the safest type of lithium cell currently available, consistent with Begode's claim, as well as that weird demonstration of drilling through a pack. However, they also suffer from one major drawback, and that is that by weight, they only have 60% of the capacity as compared to traditional lithium ion. And that is the reason why no other company, and that includes Foam, Electronic, anyone else, using in their product. Not because this is some sort of novel new technology that no one knows about and that Gotway somehow stumbled upon it. No other company think that this major drawback on capacity is worth the trade-off. The specification of the RS Resolute certainly seem to reflect this, as the battery capacity has been dropped to 1,020 watt-hour as compared to the 1,800 on the outgoing RS model. I'm not mad because of their choice to go with the LFP cells or even the reduction in capacity. As a matter of fact, they upped the voltage of this wheel to 116 volt, which promised a small bump in performance as a consolation. No way that the bump that comes from this voltage increase, as well as the deeper discharge capability of the LFP cell, would actually compensate for the loss of 800 watt-hour of battery capacities. But the reason why I am so absolutely annoyed with Gotway or Begode fine is their absolute stubborn unwillingness to actually fix the cause of the fire. Been so much conversation in the EUC community about all the issues with Gotway wheels from dealers and fellow YouTubers. Shout out to Adam from Runway for doing a detailed breakdown of EXN and point out all of the problems he saw with how that wheel was designed and engineered. I just find it really hard to believe that Gotway is somehow ignorant of all of these persistent problem. All they need to do is to open up a veteran Sherman and see all the improvements that their prior employees had iterated upon their own design to know the kind of engineering fixes that their wheel actually need. But instead, they're giving us a telephone post forest. I also like to point out that if these are indeed LFP cells that they have gone with their little demonstrations of drilling to those packs, what is pouring out of those packs are still toxic lithium smoke. And I feel for those poor Gotway employees who have to happily pitch this fix while inhaling those toxic fumes. Not to mention the fact that, do Gotway really expect that the rider would just pull the ruined pack from their wheel, plugging a fresh one and keep on riding like nothing is wrong? The majority of the fire that happened this year happened to wheels that was not being actively ridden and had not experienced physical trauma, which means that the cause of the fire was either in the electrical system within the wheel itself or due to quality control issue with how the packs are made. And the fix that Gotway is pitching address neither one of those problems. Not to mention the fact that if they do intend on rolling out the solution across their entire line, then we're going to see a 40% battery capacity hit across the board on all of their future wheel releases. We don't ride Gotway wheels because they're reliable or beautifully designed. We ride them because they used to make the fastest and most powerful electric unicycle on the market. And now because of their absolute unwillingness to fix their engineering, they're gonna gimp the one competitive advantage they have over all the other EUC manufacturers. And this is why it blows my mind that they brag about this as some kind of innovation on their part. Not burning down your customer's house is not a feature. It's a requirement. You know what I thought when I saw the RS Resolute? Sadness. The N Super platform was the flagship wheel of Gotway and used to represent the peak of what was possible with an electric unicycle. But those days are long gone. And seeing the latest iteration of this is like seeing an old, tired, and gimp dog brought out once again by an uncaring owner in the hope of gathering a bit more sympathy, a bit more love, and a bit more of your cash. It is time to put it out to the farm. Seriously.
I don't know, but I've been told music make you lose control. Work your body to the beat. Body work will set you free.
So what do you think? Are you just as tired as I am at the sorry excuse of a fix from Gotway, or am I overreacting over a promising new old wheel? Well, that is what the comment section below are for. And you know what? Aha, I somehow managed to trick you into wasting another 50 minutes of your life, but I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my supporter on Patreon. Please check out the link in the video description below if you enjoy and like to support my work. And as always, as much as we all love Electric Unicycle, the only way for us to get better wheel is to grow as a community. So tell your friend and teach them how to ride and get them hooked. Until the next video, thank you.
Work your body to the beat. Body work will set you free.